The road to beautiful. The road to beautiful. What does that really mean?
Our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. You and I, we got it. We don't need no more.
If you're a woman who considers herself mature, and that can be pretty much any age, as we know from YouTube, or if you know that you're aging, you're truly aging, and maybe you're looking back on your beauty, or maybe not your beauty, I think you'll enjoy this tag. If you haven't subscribed to rxstrmom channel yet, I hope you will. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you'll be notified, and you'll be a part of the rxstrmom family. One of my dear friends here on YouTube, Susan from Little Poet, recently wrote a tag called Road to Beauty. And I first saw that title and I thought, now, okay, let's see what this is about, because I think we all probably have different viewpoints when it comes to beauty. And as I watched Susan's video of her doing this tag, and I've watched some others since then do Susan's tag, it really sort of made me think about those of us who have come this far in our lives, how maybe over the years our ideas of beauty have really changed. So I'm going to say right off the bat that if you are a content creator here on YouTube in this beauty community, I hope that you will do this tag. Susan did a magnificent job, and as I said, it's very thought-provoking. I will list all of the questions below in the show more. So if you're a content creator, I hope you'll do it. If you're not a content creator, but you have seen this tag, you see mine, and you would like to see some of your favorite content creators do the tag, you'd really like to see how they answer the questions, let them know. Just ask them to do it. Tell them you'd like to learn a little bit more about them and ask them to do this. So with that being said, let's just get right into Susan's tag, The Road to Beautiful. And by the way, this is 8 questions, and I hope I can answer all 8. I'm not sure I can, but we'll start with number 1, and I'm reading from my computer. When you were a little girl, did you feel pretty? Were you ever teased in school, and how did it affect you? She just gets you in the gut right off the bat with that question. I didn't feel pretty. I was skinny, and I mean by skinny, skin and bones. I remember some of my really early years. What I want to say too right off the bat about this question is that I have almost no memories of growing up. And I would be willing to bet that there are many of you who are in the same boat. You have no real memories. I remember very few things. My sister, from time to time, will mention things that happened or that we did, and I don't know what she's talking about. I have no idea. I hear relatives talk about, oh, we did this back then, and we all went here, or I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I've chosen my entire adult life not to talk about this. And I'm not going to talk about it today. But I will tell you, almost 4 years ago, I finally told my sister, my daughter, and Jim I had already shared part of it with him. But it was not a happy childhood. So that in itself probably accounts for me growing up all those young formative years with a bad image of myself. Over the years there, I would slowly tuck things back. I would just block them out so that I didn't have to think about it. I figured out in my mind how to put it out of my mind. Always knowing that one day I was going to get out of this situation. And when I finally graduated from high school and could get a job and get out on my own, I removed myself from it. And I will tell you, because a lot of you are going to say, oh, you should have done this or you should do that. When it's all happening to you, you don't know what to do. You don't know who you can trust. You don't know who you can tell. But you figure it out. And you figure out that you're going to have to succumb to it, or you're going to have to forgive and get on with your life. And you, for you and you only, make the best decisions for you. And that's what I did. That's what I chose. Do I remember being teased in school? No. What I do know is I was probably the poorest child in my class. That I do know, and I wore hand-me-downs. I do know that. I was the oldest, and I had a friend that was an only child, and they were a well-to-do family in our town, and she was a little bit bigger than I was, so when her clothes were hand down, I was the perfect size to them, and her mother gave my mother her clothes for me. So I was going to the same school in the same grade, but I was wearing the clothes she had worn the year before. And listen, I know that a lot of you are sitting there saying, well, that happened to me too, Patty. That happened to me too. And look where you are today. Look where I am today. So it's all up here. It's all up here. As I said, I have forgiven. I've not forgotten. You can't forget that. But you can not live your life based on what happened yesterday or 65 or 70 years ago. You just can't do that. Well, I guess you could. I chose not to. All right, number 2. Men found these 3 traits the most beautiful in a woman. Do you agree with these findings below? A, independent. B, good at something. C, kind and nurturing. That's a hard one. Because many of you know that I was married and then divorced and lived with and raised my child for 37 years before I met Jim. And I've been married now. We just had our 9th anniversary this past month in May. So I had 37 years of being alone, and I dated a lot. And also I went for long periods of time and not dated. But I found there are different men. I mean, I don't think you can put every man in the same category. I had some men who liked that I was very independent. I had some other men who were intimidated by it. I think that unless a man was jealous, and I did date a man who wanted me to just be subservient to him. He did not want me to have any outside activities. He didn't want me to be good at anything. He wanted his fingers on me. And of course that didn't last, if you know me. So, you know, again, I think that can go both ways. Do they think kind and nurturing? Definitely, I think most men, or at least the men that I have dated and married, like that I am kind and nurturing. I'm quite sure that that is a positive. 3, why do you wear makeup? Can you feel pretty without it? Well, I mean, if you watch me at all, you know I love makeup. It's not that I just... From the time I was out of high school, basically, I was in the workforce, and I needed to look my best. And I've always felt that to look my best, I needed to wear makeup. Now, it's funny because many of you know that I flew for Delta Airlines for many, many years. And I joke about the fact that when I first started flying, Delta was so strict. I mean, they were on the verge of discrimination. Do this, you couldn't do that. You couldn't color your hair hair had to be short. You had to wear red fingernail polish. Your fingernails had to be fairly short because they were concerned that we were serving food, and food would get under or dirt and grime would get under your fingernails, and the passengers on the plane may see it. So we had to wear red nail polish, and they had to be fairly short. We could not wear eyeliner. We could wear foundation and mascara and eyeshadow and blush, but we could not wear eyeliner. Go figure. In fact, the whole time I flew for Delta, there was only one time that I was sent home and was not able to take a flight that I was scheduled to take, and that was on a Friday night, and I may have told this story before, but that was on a Friday night. I knew there would not be a soul in the flight lounge for Delta that night, that Friday night, and I was going to wear eyeliner, dadgummit, and I put my eyeliner on, and I trucked myself down to that flight lounge, and guess who was there? Our head stewardess. And she took one look at me and just pointed to the door, and I knew what it meant. So by the time you couldn't be married, obviously you couldn't have children. And when I left Delta, it was basically what you see today. So I sort of saw everything. Can you feel pretty? So going back to the question is, I've just always worn makeup. It's just a part of who I am. I joked for years with my daughter that when I die, if she doesn't have them put blue eyeliner on me, I'm just going to come back and haunt her. That's all there is to it. We've joked about that. Can you feel pretty without it? You know what? I can. I can. Because I think pretty is in our head. Go to my channel page when you finish here and look at the header on my channel page. Just click on rxstrmom, my picture. It'll take you there. And my saying at the top of my page has been there since I started my channel. And it's, we are the choices we make. And I think that means that we can choose what we think too. So I choose to think that I am pretty, and I don't think that's being conceited. I choose to think that I can be pretty without makeup, even with my dark spots, even with some wrinkles in my saggy skin. Yes, I think I can be pretty. Here's the deal. I've always said this. I've had people tell me I'm pretty, and I've had people tell me I'm beautiful, and this and that, but here's how I feel about it. For me personally, I can remember the first time Jim saw me with no makeup on whatsoever. And he did a double take, and then he smiled. But every time I come out of that bathroom, and I have my makeup on and my hair done, and I'm dressed, let's say we're going out, every single time, he tells me I'm beautiful. we were on a cruise ship just before the pandemic. And we were going to dinner, and he had already dressed, and normally he would go on to the bar and wait for me. But he sat there on the side of the bed. There was a little vanity in our room, and I was sitting there, and I'd put my makeup on, and I was doing my hair. And I sort of finished combing it and spraying it. And he said, "You have the most beautiful hair I've ever seen." How could you not feel pretty when you have someone that you love telling you that you're pretty? That's something that I wish for all of my girlfriends. And you know, each one of you are one of my girlfriends. What is your favorite trait in a woman that makes her truly beautiful? Oh, without a doubt, her heart. Her heart. Her heart. When I see someone being kind, when I see women and men who do things for strangers, totally unexpected. Maybe it's just a smile standing in a line, a nod, "How are you?" To me, that's what makes someone beautiful. Trust me, we can all paint our faces and be pretty. But I think truly it's the hearts that are beautiful. Number 5, what is your least favorite trait in a woman? I think women with egos. Anyone with an ego that is sort of off the chart. I think we have to be real careful with our egos. I think our egos can get us in a lot of trouble. Our egos can certainly bring on a lot of enemies. But for me, it's the realization that I can look at the least among us and I can know that I could be right there. If I had made different choices early on in my life, I could be in a much different place than I am today. And listen, some of us are in situations and have been in situations that were far worse than what I experienced. And the circumstances just keep us stuck. We want to get out of it, but we just don't see a way out. And I think it's the woman who has never experienced anything in their life. Maybe they've been raised in a loving family with money, with everything they need, and they've been afforded an education and jobs and lifestyles. And that's all that's important to them. That's all that they see. I'm here to tell you, though, that there are so many women, and I know them, who are raised that way, and they have hearts of gold. They're loving and they're caring. So it works both ways. Number 6. What is it like in America or your country for a woman growing older? Is it easy for you, or is it a fight to be seen, heard, and feel beautiful? Again, I think because of my age, and I know many of you can relate to this, we've seen so many changes. We've seen so many changes in our lifetime. And I think here in the United States, that glass ceiling is still there and needs to be broken in some situations. But, well, I look at my daughter. I look at my daughter, And I love my daughter, and I probably brag on her too much, but I have this belief if we don't tell the world about our children, about how wonderful they are, even if maybe they're not perfect, but how wonderful they are, if we're not bragging on them and lifting them up, then who is? Who will? So my daughter is an entrepreneur, and I think many of you know that, and a successful entrepreneur. And she, years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, named one of the top 4 women in her state who had broken through the glass ceiling. I think that was the honor that she received. And so I think that we're seeing that more and more and more. We're seeing women taking charge and being in charge with a tremendous amount of success. Number 7, when do you feel the most beautiful? Do you look at aging as a fork in the road of choice? Example, one road being bitter or sad and the other road being hopeful and content. Well, I think you know me. I mean, if you've watched me at all, you know the answer to that question. When do I feel the most beautiful? I think certainly when my husband or my daughter or my neighbor or someone says, "Hey, Patty, you look great today. You look beautiful." Thank you. I think a lot of you, because you don't really know me outside of YouTube, if you've told me I'm beautiful, I've probably replied to you, it's genetics and good lighting. I am a very realist. I am not always beautiful on the outside. I think, here's the way I feel about me. Here's the way I feel about beauty when it comes to me. And by beauty, I'm talking about outward looks. I think, for me, and this is important, and I've always felt this way, I'm not a natural beauty. I don't have the most beautiful eyes and the most beautiful skin and the most beautiful hair and the perfect nose and the perfectly straight teeth and I'm not a natural beauty. As a friend of mine said once, when someone walked in the room and she was just drop dead gorgeous, she said, "She makes you want to put a paper bag over your head." I have had that feeling many times when I've seen truly beautiful women. And I have a story coming up in an upcoming, in fact, it's my skincare video. You're going to want to be on the lookout for it because I tell a story about just that kind of woman. But I have always felt about me, and from the time I was a young adult, a young woman, I have never felt truly beautiful outwardly. But I think, I'm pretty sure, I can be striking on any given day. I know I've learned over the years things that I can tune and tweak about my makeup and my hair and the way I dress that will help me to be striking when I make the effort. And again, what Susan says is, example, one road being bitter or sad and another road being hopeful and confident. And again, that all comes down to choices. We may not can instantly pull out of thin air $20,000 to have a facelift. Some of us can't pull out $1,000 to go get a little bit of filler, but we can change our attitude about it. We can change our attitude. And I'll go back to another friend years ago. We were all working, all of us girlfriends, we're out there, we're working and we're going and we're blowing and we're doing and we're buying and we're shopping and we're getting our nails done and our hair done and we're going for drinks on Friday afternoon. And we had a friend who, because of circumstances, couldn't do all of those things all of the time with us. But you know what she said? She never said, "I don't have the money." She never said, "I can't afford it." what she said was, I'd love to, but it's not in my budget right now. It has changed. I just never say I can't afford something, even though I can't. I never say anymore, I'm broke. I've learned to say from her, it's not in my budget right now. So I think if it's not in our budget, we can reason it out in our minds so that we can feel good about it. What are your goals in the next year for a more beautiful you and a more beautiful life? Oh, Susan, I know you wrote this after the pandemic, but I think a lot of us this year have had some major eye-openers happen. I've said the pandemic didn't faze me and Jim really, because we're retired. We have worked so hard, both of us, our whole lives, so that we could retire and not be rich, not be able to just blow money and go and spend and do, and everything we do is planned and the money is set aside for it. But we worked hard not to have to worry too much about money when we retired. And I have seen in the past 3 months so many people scared, not knowing what's going to happen financially. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to make some major lifestyle changes. A lot of people have learned they don't have to be out spending money every day. They can survive just fine without it. I just think this next year, and then we had the George Floyd situation, which, and I know probably all of you, it just makes you sick at your stomach. It brought to life for all of us, it brought to life the injustices that are still going on in not just our country but our world. You know, if you've watched me, I have no bias bones in my body. I believe we're all created equal. And as much and as sick as this thing with what's gone on in the past week or so, as sick as this makes me, I think we have to be a little bit careful. I think that George Floyd was not a hero. He was not a martyr. I think he was a victim of racial injustice. Like all of us, he was flawed. And we're using George Floyd as an example of discrimination that has lasted for so long in this country, and it has finally, hopefully, come to a head. It makes me sick that he or anyone could be treated the way he was treated. I saw this popped up on Facebook and I did a screenshot of it, and I'm gonna post it, because we're hearing Black Lives Matter, and then people are saying, no, all lives matter, all lives matter. Jesus, God loves all of us. Well, yes, he does. But does he say don't give money to cancer because diabetes kills people too? This sign that this young girl is carrying says, we said Black Lives Matter, never said only Black Lives Matter. We know all lives matter. We just need your help with Black Lives Matter, for Black lives are in danger. I think that says perfectly how I feel. And that's all I'm going to say on that for right now, at least. But getting back to number 8, what are your goals in the next year for a more beautiful you and a more beautiful life? Well, my prayer is that the virus is behind us, although I'm afraid it's not. I hope by the next year it is behind us completely, and we've all come out having learned so many lessons. I believe that everything that happens to us is to teach us a lesson. I've always believed that. It's to teach us a lesson, and I think this has been a big learning experience for the majority of us. And I'm praying that if anything comes out of this, that we're gonna go back. Well, we can't go back, but we're going to. Enough of us have learned enough from this. Maybe for some of us, it's changing our minds. Maybe for some of us, has just been an eye opener. Maybe we've lived our lives with blinders on, and this has just opened up a whole new world to us, a whole new understanding. And more than anything, I hope that it's taught us to be kind. I think it's really difficult to hate if you can be kind. It's really difficult to look down on someone for any reason if you can be kind. So I look for things to get so much better. The sun will come out tomorrow. You can bet your bottom dollar. I'm going to leave you with a scripture. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And that's 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Know that I love you, each and every one of you, and I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Don't forget to go out and be kind today. Be kind. Show people love. Show people your love. I'll see you soon. And don't forget to do this tag. I want to see it. And suggest it to all of those that you subscribe to that haven't done it yet. Ask them to go over and either look at my video and to get the questions, or I'll link Susan's original tag video too, so that you can go there, or they can go there and watch that too. Just send them a link. I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.